Hi, this is Mitchell Panter from the law firm of Panter, Panter and San Pedro. I want to talk a little bit about valuation and how you value a case, or more importantly, how lawyers value and evaluate a case for purposes of settlement, for purposes of mediation, or trial for that matter. One of the concerns that we have currently, obviously, is COVID and the failure to be able to get to trial. The ability to get to trial has always been a very good factor in pushing insurance companies or defense counsel to settle a case, because you have that imminent fear of there being a day of reckoning, a day when there's a trial. Since we don't have that anymore, at least for the current time, we need to consider that in our evaluation of the case. I don't mean that you should settle a case cheap or that it should be resolved at this point in time simply because you can't get to trial, but it's one of the considerations that we need to take into account when we have a case, when we're looking at a case, and especially when we're looking at trying to resolve a case, either through mediation, trial, or some other mechanism of settlement. Some of the values that you need to consider is, what's the best day? What's the best result that you can obtain? One of the things that we look at in determining that is, what is the insurance policy? How much money is actually available from the bodily injury coverage or liability coverage on the other side? When you're working with the county, there are limits, and so we have to consider how much the most you can recover against the county or a municipality is. If it's an automobile case, you look to see what the bodily injury policy limits are, and from that you can make a determination as to how much money you can recover, the best case scenario. One of the things that you also need to look at is the costs of the case. Now, we work on cases on a contingency fee basis, but ultimately, if a case is resolved, it's the client's proceeds that will be used to pay for the costs of the case. So how much is it going to cost to proceed to a trial or to proceed further on the case? If you can settle a case now and your costs are very low versus going to trial and spending a considerable amount of money, the net recovery might be the same. So you need to consider that and looking at it. You also need to talk about the law. Recently, one of the issues in law that we deal with is called summary judgment. That changed. So in the next few weeks, that law is going to be different, and that's going to change the way courts look at a case and evaluate a case. These are all important issues that you need to discuss. Also, and lastly, what is the defendant's downside? Is there a political or a social issue that they're concerned about, which might prompt them to pay a little bit more or pay a little bit less in a case? And this might be known to you either because you've worked in the community or because you're aware of the other party and how they're going to evaluate the case and how they're going to look at the case. So these are all important concerns. Most important concern, talk to your lawyer. Listen to your lawyer. At Panter, Panter and San Pedro, we do a really good job on talking with our clients and making sure they understand all aspects of the case. If you have a question, call me, Mitchell Panter, 305-662-6178, or visit us at panterlaw.com. Panter, Panter and San Pedro is a law firm dedicated to protecting Florida's families.